It's the end of an era in Israel with that historic change of leadership. We are now going to see the 49-year-old Naftali Bennett, the right-wing nationalist millionaire and former technology executive, becoming Israel's new prime minister. He led a historic coalition of parties from right across the Israeli political divide to victory after winning Sunday's razor-thin vote of confidence in the Knesset 60-59. Now, if this government lasts, and there's a question about that, but if it lasts, this power-sharing deal will see Bennett serve as Prime Minister until August of 2023. He then hands the reins to Yair Lapid, who starts out as Foreign Minister. Now, obviously a lot to look at here, but the first is reaction from the United States. President Joe Biden was among the first to congratulate the new leadership. He said here that he will continue to work with Israel. He said he has no better friend than the United States and Israel. There's no better friend than the United States to Israel. And the US remains unwavering in its support for Israel's security. Biden here vowing to work with the new Israeli government to advance security, stability, and peace for Israelis, Palestinians, and people throughout the broader region. What we also saw was the US Secretary of State Antony Blinken calling to congratulate Prime Minister Alternative and Foreign Minister Yair Lapid. The two discussed a shopping list of issues here, including efforts to maintain a ceasefire after last month's 11-day conflict with Hamas that spiked tensions between Arabs and Jews, and of course the threat posed by Iran as those nuclear talks in Vienna continue to unfold. Now, those nuclear talks were also a key feature of Prime Minister Bennett's first address to the nation. He made clear that Israel will oppose any move by the United States to revive the nuclear deal. Listen.
Renewing the nuclear deal with Iran is a mistake that will once again lend legitimacy to one of the most discriminatory and violent regimes in the world. Israel will not allow Iran to be equipped with nuclear weapons. Israel is not party to the agreement and will maintain full freedom to act.
Now, of course, also on top of the agenda here is passing a national budget. Can you believe it or not? But this is the first time in 3 years that Israel hasn't had one. And Bennett is also inheriting an economy that's still recovering from this spike in unemployment and government debt that we saw coming out of the peak of the pandemic, but forecasts say it's still set to grow around 6.3% this year. I think the big question, though, is what happens next for Bibi. We know his legacy and political ambition might live on, Hadley, but he is now in opposition. He's going to be left to face the charges of bribery, fraud, and breach of trust without the status that's afforded to a sitting leader. Of course, he denies any wrongdoing, but what he does next remains to be seen.